I kind of set my intro around maybe it's a while back. People are probably aware of what I'm working on, or maybe. Basically, I've got a second job outside of computing as a motorsport photographer. And I travel to various races around Europe normally. And some of them, like the Evergreen 24-hour race, I'm active for 4 days. I'm taking photographs for about 32 hours during that time. And I end up with tens of thousands of photographs. And you can maybe just about make out the top photograph there's got Mercedes in it, and the bottom one's got Porsche. And because sometimes I'm working for a Porsche team, or sometimes working for Mercedes or for a magazine, I need to go through and separate all the photographs out, one by one, and it takes hours. With lots of copy, I can do about 1,000 photographs in an hour, but I can't do that for very long because I then crash and burn. So what I want to do is kind of, whilst I'm here, come up with a way of automating the sorting of images. So I'm using openCV for this, which is a computer vision library. And until 2 weeks ago, I didn't know what computer vision meant. So I've been going off and figuring out what to do. And the first thing I decided to do was to go through and generate some test data. So you probably can't quite make out, but on this photograph, I've marked a purple box around the front of the Porsche because I've got lots of photographs of Porsches. So I figure I'll start out by trying to teach a computer what a Porsche is. And then later I'll worry about BMWs, Mercedes and Ferraris and everything else. So I went through about 300 images of Porsches and marked these in. It was quite painstaking. I did that on Saturday afternoon. Then I then went off and I found 700 odd photographs which didn't have Porsches in them, but were relatively similar to these ones because then I can kind of mix and match them. Then, having done that, I then went off and used the openCV Create Samples tool to create a vector image from all the ones I've created. And then I ran the openCV training, what's it called? There's a utility for basic training models with openCV. And if my presenter don't showed up, I'll be able to talk more about it. But basically, there's a number of different models you can use out of the box with this. There's a HAR model, which uses HAR-like wavelets, and there's another one which uses local binary patterns, and there's a third one which uses histogram of oriented. Anyway, the point being that different models take different lengths of time to train and have different levels of accuracy and so on. I initially started using the HAR-like model, and after 24 hours it was still running on my 8-core server. So I gave up on that, and I used the LBP model, the local binary patterns, and thankfully I've run over the time. I'll get going. But yeah, the LBP model takes 25 minutes to train, so it's pretty cool. So now, if I can just exit out of this and go to set my display to mirror. So now I finally got to writing some code, which was I based this on the detect faces model, which originally used the Lena image that was described earlier or shown earlier, and I modified it a bit and to read in the classifier that I trained. And then basically for a set of test data, which is 10 images or so, to go through and try and see how well my model worked. So if I run it, normally takes, hopefully it'll work. Yeah, it runs relatively quickly, and you can see for some cars it's detected 1 car, some it's detected 2, and some 0. And then one image is detected 9 cars, which, let's see how well that worked. First one, this is an image of a BMW. Sorry, this is quite dark, so you may not be able to see it that well. But it didn't detect anything, so that's a positive thing. The second image, this was meant to be a negative sample as well, but it's drawn a green box around the Porsche in the background. So I was kind of unexpected, but I guess it's a positive result. The third image, again, it's worked relatively well. It's got the Porsche in the front and hasn't marked anything else, and so on. So some of these, I was looking at these and getting really quite excited. And even on this one, it's marked both the cars, so I was really, really pleased at this point. But then I got to a shot from a different racer. So that was a bit disappointing. And this one, it's kind of like selects all these areas and not far itself. So I realised at this point, I kind of, first I thought, oh, great, I'll be finished with this exercise by the end of the week, and then I realised actually it's going to take quite a lot longer. Going back to my thing, so basically I ended up with something that basically works, but it has some fairly big limitations because you can see, whilst the corner where I trained on and had lots of test data, it worked quite well. Elsewhere, it didn't. And using the cascade classifier, which is what I was using in openCV, there's no way to get the confidence, well, there doesn't seem to be a way to get the confidence. It's kind of, some people have talked about it and said that it's a bug, but then the bug's been existed for a long time, so maybe it's a feature. So basically, I've then gone off and read about this Hog descriptor, which is the histogram of whatever it's gradients, and apparently that gives some weighting scores. But it doesn't have all the doesn't seem to have all the same tools and frameworks around it to make life easy. So I need to go off and what I'm planning to do is next week. This week will be very heads down, just trying to get something working. I think now I'm at the point where I've kind of almost figured out the direction I want to go in. And over the week ahead and the weeks to go, I'll be looking to try and hopefully pair up with some people to get some help because I'm going to need it.